Hi, everyone. For those that don't know me, I'm Virginia Walton, and I'm a personal coach. Prior to moving into my coaching practice, where I look to focus on helping others succeed, both on a personal and professional level, I spent 24 years in the banking and finance industry. I had been a senior vice president of a $27 billion bank by the time I was 38. And about 10, 11 years ago, I had my first exposure to coaching. And I had done a 360 survey, which is where you get input from all different types of relationships at work. And when I met with the coach and he looked at my survey results and I gave him the Cliff Notes version of my life, he said, that all makes sense. And if you don't change, you're not going any further. Considering I was in my early 30s and at the lowest level of management our organization had, I took those words to heart. I embraced the change, and it made a difference in my career and along the way in my life. And I want to help others have that experience. Don't get me wrong, it took a lot of hard work. It wasn't family connections and fancy degrees that got me to be a senior vice president. It was hard work and a lot of missteps, including I nearly burned out, which is why today we're talking about burnout. So there was an article in Forbes magazine last month that addressed burnout. Not surprising given the world we've been living in for the past year, a little over. And some of the signs they listed were feeling overwhelmed, overworked, stressed, frustrated, being short-tempered, and that could be with your coworkers, your colleagues, your staff, your family, your kids. Just feeling like you're dragging and unmotivated, uninspired, not sleeping well, maybe overindulging, food, wine, too much Amazon online shopping, or whatever your guilty pleasure is, right? So if any of that sounds familiar, stay with me a few more minutes, okay? Because I get it. I mean, who wouldn't be? All of a sudden, our lives were completely upended. Now people were, to the extent they could, working from home and teaching and managing their lives. There was no separation. Maybe your boss was setting the expectation of, well, you don't have to commute to work and you're at your house and you can't go anywhere. I expect you available 24/7. Or maybe you kind of felt like you were supposed to be available 24/7, even if it wasn't set. Because you were trying to balance those things. At my former employer, I actually saw a colleague on a video conference call. Next to her was her child doing their virtual schooling. Yeah, that's easy to be productive with a 7-year-old sitting next to you trying to learn and answer their questions for school and technology while doing your own work, and having a spouse probably somewhere else in the house trying to do the same thing. Totally cool. Or conducting meetings. I never had the pleasure of having to try to facilitate a discussion with my peers with everything else going on behind me that goes on in my house during the day, right? And I don't have kids, so I can only imagine with pets and kids and deliverymen, and it was stressful. Now, we kind of settled into this. We kind of got into a new rhythm. At least where I live, things are opening back up, which is great. But now there's this other stress. Wait, do I need my mask? Do I not need my mask here? Did that change go into effect now, or is that later in the month, or is it next month? Okay. Oh, wait, we can start having events, so all the things we haven't been planning because we didn't think we could, we now have to plan really fast. And your friends want to see you. You want to see your friends. The mad dash to schedule weddings. I'm sure venues are freaking out as they're being inundated. So now we've created a whole new stress. Yeah, I get it. Even before the pandemic, maybe you were feeling some of these things, so it just amplified it. I know there was a period in my career, I was at the best role of my career. I was killing myself. Let me be honest. I felt a lot of those things. I wasn't sleeping. I was giving up workouts just to sleep. I would work all day till the lights in the office literally went out because nobody else was in there. There was no movement. And all of a sudden, I'm doing this to try to set off the lights. And it's Friday night, by the way. And I did have a life outside of work. I have family and friends. I have commitments to my community. So I was trying to do all that too. A friend of mine, actually the year I took my promotion, maybe it was the second year. I'd been in my role about a year. And I stepped up to be director of our field hockey program. And then a friend of mine at church said, we're shorthanded of catechists or teachers for religious education. Could you help? And I'm like, how much time does it need? You don't want to say no. I was raised with a belief system of serving. It's strong in my core, but I also only get 24 hours in a day. And I said to my friend, she was, oh yeah, I'm going to do this too. She was, really? I bet you just do one. So part of it is self-inflicted, right? We're reluctant to say no. And as women, no disrespect to the guys who feel this way, but typically women want to take care of others. So we take on that role. And it's not just caring for our children, our spouse, our elderly parents. I don't have any of those. And I take on that. You care for your extended family, your friends, your community, your colleagues. I get it. And it self-burdens. So I was on the verge of burnout. I don't know that I really realized it then. That's the first step. Realize it. Nobody had given me this list of signs where I could be like, oh shit. How do I stop this? How do I fix this? But I remember feeling and actually telling my boss, I go, why am I doing this? I can live on less money than I make. I need a paycheck, but it doesn't need to be this paycheck. Maybe I should just go work at Target. That's the solution. Get a retail job with crazy hours and less money. And I shared this feeling with one of my trusted confidants. And he looked at me and he said, Virginia, who are you kidding? Even if you did that, the way you take on and the way you work will go with you there. So you're still going to feel this way. And then you're going to be more frustrated because you're going to be stressed over money and that you made this change and it's not any better. Light bulb. You got to change you. The change is right here. The burnout is because of the flame we carry. Right? So how are you managing it? Are you setting boundaries? Are you saying, listen, to give 100%, I have to be at 100%? Are you taking care of you? Now, how you define that will be different. What works for me may not work for you. It's just like, I was in an executive physical and at the time had some acne. Kind of goes with the whole burnout thing. When the doctor walked into the room, he asked me, what's up with the acne? And I'm like, you're the doctor. Shouldn't you tell me? And so we talked through some things and he gave me some recommendations. But the advice at the end was, try these things. See what works for you. Again, another light bulb. Little nugget of wisdom right there. Not so much just in what face products and skincare routine would be best, which I trial and error have found. That's great advice for life in general. What will help me manage feeling stressed or overwhelmed or making sure I'm not getting snippy with everybody in my life may be different than you. But here's some things that you can consider, right? Exercise. It's more than just about weight management. It creates an endorphin release. That's a natural high. That's going to boost your energy. That's going to give you that energy to help you move more quickly and efficiently through your day. It also can be a form of stress relief. I used to take a kickboxing class, and on those days where everybody at work had just pissed me off, that was what I was picturing as I kicked and hit that bag. Maybe it wasn't a person, maybe it was a project, but it gave me a way to let it go. I broke a good sweat, got a good workout, burned some calories, and walked out like, all right, move forward. So see if that works for you. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe instead of that physical exercise, maybe you need something like a walk. Slow you down. Or yoga, Pilates. Just focus you on what you're doing. But try 30 minutes. Not an hour, not 2. If you've got time for an hour, great. But at least commit to 30 minutes. You can probably find 30 minutes. Other things to try? Meditation. Now, if you're like, I don't have time to sit there on a couch, on a cushion, or you've tried it and you're like, my mind's just running about my to-do list and I'm getting more agitated because I'm not making progress. I'm sitting here just thinking. Okay. Keep trying it. The idea is to not be thinking about your to-do list. But maybe that doesn't work for you. Maybe you just need to take some deep breaths. Again, maybe it's go for a walk. Other things, watch something funny and mindless. Cat videos on social media, podcasts, reruns of old sitcoms, whatever. A funny movie. I love watching My Cousin Vinny. But make sure whatever of those you try, that you're doing just that. You can't be doing it while you're making dinner, helping the kids with their homework, making sure that they did their virtual assignments, responding to an email from the boss or from somebody on your team. That's not going to help. Focus on 30 minutes, 20 minutes, funny podcast, stand-up comedy, something. Read the funnies. They actually still print comics every day. But be focused on that and not everything else to relax you. Get a good night's sleep. Right? One of the signs where you're not sleeping well. So if you're not sleeping well, you're not getting enough rest. You might be like, no time. You should see my to-do list. Been there, done that. Years ago, I met with a nutritionist. This is an important fact. It's a nutritionist, not a therapist. I was eating small meals throughout the day, so no spikes. I was working out every morning before work. Some nights I even went back to the gym to do a cardio class. I was doing strength and cardio. The scale was not moving. I was pretty frustrated. So I met with her and I brought, here's what I eat, here's my activity logs, my sleep, And she goes, you don't get enough sleep. First words out of her mouth, you don't get enough sleep. I'm like, yeah, because I got to be at the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning and it's 20 minutes away to get my workout in and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, 5 hours sleep is not enough for the activity level you have. You're not going to make progress. Again, nugget. Not enough sleep, not enough progress. So I found ways to find time. Instead of doing meal prep in the evening, I do it all on the weekend. Cut out one thing to do. And I found other things I could do that whittled away so I could get to bed earlier. Or maybe sleep a smidge later. But I got more sleep. And now, is it every day? No. But I know I started also keeping track of how much sleep does my body need, right? At that point, she told me I needed 8 to 9 hours, but I was also exercising twice a day. I know now from watching my own pattern, I need at least 7. 8, I'm feeling pretty awesome. Less than 7, not functioning well. So again, see what works. Think about it. It's really pretty simple. None of us would get in our car to drive to work on an empty tank of gas. You just wouldn't, because you know you're not going to get there. Plain and simple. Yet, why do we think we're going to be productive and get to work on an empty tank when we haven't gotten enough sleep? Fill your tank. That's what keeps you moving forward. Candle burns out when it has no source of light. It's an energy source. You need energy. The first step, though, that if you take away from anything I've said, is recognizing that you're on that path and saying, time out, time out. I can't continue this way. Not for me, not for anybody around me. Because if you're not performing well, there's going to be other, not just at work. I'm not just talking about performance planning, even though it's probably mid-year review time for some folks. I'm talking about the example you're setting for your kids. The ability to care for them, your spouse, your family, your community. When you have nothing left to give, there's nothing to give anyone. So your whole desire to take care of everybody and be the best at work and home and in your community and church and wherever is involved. If you're not taking care of you, you're not actually meeting that need to serve. I have to take care of me to serve you, to serve my community. Are you noticing a pattern here? So, as I thought about this, I wanted to leave you with some wise words and a visual. When you burn out, nobody benefits from your light. When you burn out, nobody benefits from your light. So if you realize that you're on that path and you're ready to get off but don't know how, I'm here to help you so that everybody gets to see your shining light. Because we all have one. And it might sound a little corny, but I truly believe that. So, reach out. Let's chat. My website is virginiawalton.com. Leave a comment here on Facebook or on LinkedIn. Message me. Send me an email. Send me a text. Let's keep all of our lights burning strong. And maybe if this didn't resonate with you, remember, you don't know what everybody else's personal struggle is. So share this. You might be helping a friend more than you know. Be well and burn bright.